How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, Fpl, and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video we're going to be going over the team selection for Game Week 21 as well as a review of Game Week 20 and how we got on with all that mass rotation. Firstly, the team of the week is on screen here. We'll be going over it now, but first a little bit of an admin. Thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring this video. Link down below if you do want to use my download link to download this wonderful app. Thanks again for sponsoring the video. If you don't know, OneFootball is the everything football related app. It's free to download on iOS or Android, and you can see there on the table. I'm following the Premier League right now. Gives me all the goals, assists, and whatever I need to know, as well as following my favorite team if I do want to follow a team, which is for me Liverpool, but for you it could be anyone else. Also, if you want to track more leagues than just the Premier League, go and check out this app. As I said, link down below. So on screen, the team of the week, quite an interesting team. I think it started off quite badly. That first Saturday fixtures were quite not that great, but then Sunday came back, saved a lot of FPL managers, especially because the captaincy was so highly owned on Sunday afternoon. But getting into the team, we have Fabianski coming back from injury, managing to make a penalty save against Leicester. 8 points, nice points for his owners. I don't think too many people do own him still. We have Tompkins with 10 points, the wrong kind of Crystal Palace defender to score, as a lot of us do own Kelly, but he's also a good option. Cathcart with 8, and then Dunk, who also returned from injury, I do believe, with 8 points. De Bruyne, the savior captain for a lot of people, with 14 points, and Mane as well with 11. Then my personal favorite, Perez, with 10 points. As you know, I have quite a history with Perez. Brought him in as a little bit of a punt, but that did not work out. Then Calvert-Lewin, who looks like quite a nice differential option to go for, with a lovely 12 points. Getting on to how my squad got on in Game Week 20. So as you can see on screen there, 60 points. Above the average of 54, but was not enough to see a green arrow. A drop in rank about 9k places. We are currently sitting just below that 60k mark, 59.270. Not that worse of a rank, but I was expecting a little bit better since my high performance on Saturday. I think at the end of Saturday afternoon, we were sitting at about the 25k mark. So a little bit of a drop there, just mainly due to the Sadio Mane and Kevin De Bruyne captains. As you do know, I don't own a Liverpool attacker. So let's get into how the squad did. We have Guaita yet again with not a clean sheet. So I think I've seriously broken Crystal Palace. Ever since I brought him in, has not returned, and yet again that double up on the Crystal Palace defense does not pay dividend. So Guaita at least got a save point, so it took him to 3, but with Kelly only the 2 points. Was not the Crystal Palace defender to score, that was Tompkins, as you saw in the team of the week. But hopefully Kelly and Guaita can kind of repay the clean sheets a little bit more in the future, and I'll be perfectly fine with that. We then have Rico with 1 point. He came off the bench, was not confident of Bournemouth getting the clean sheet, and that kind of proved me right after I think 10 minutes they conceded. But with Rico, didn't intend him to come on, but just how kind of the game week went with a lot of players, especially the Leicester options, rotated. But with Rico, nice fixtures coming up. It was nice to see him come straight back into that lineup after that yellow card suspension. Alexander-Arnold, the player we brought in for this game week, with 8 points, lovely 2 bonus points as well. So got forward a little bit, but I think Wolves did quite well with kind of restricting the wing backs or full backs to not get forward that much. So he did quite well, but at least he kept the clean sheet. And then Grealish with 1 point, was quite disappointed with Aston Villa recently. They've been absolutely atrocious. Losing to Watford 3-0 I think kind of speaks for itself and shows how much trouble they are in. He looks like a transfer out, but it's also quite annoying because he's so integral to that Aston Villa attack and definitely their best player that I somewhat want to just hope that he plays and then kind of does well. Reminds me a little bit of Sigurdsson when he played for Swansea. Swansea were atrocious, but Sigurdsson would always get on the end of some attacking returns just because of how quality of a player he is. Then we have Ali and Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura was actually benched at the start of that Norwich fixture, which was highly disappointing. I thought he was almost a guaranteed starter. I did bring him in for Heung-min Son, so it was nice to see him pick up an assist, but then he got a yellow card. But I don't really know what to do with Lucas Moura, as it does seem that Eriksen now is favoured a little bit without Heung-min Son in that lineup. So he's going to be someone that we have to monitor, especially when Heung-min Son comes back from suspension, as his place could be in jeopardy. But with Ali, 2 points, played relatively well, but I think Spurs overall lacked some magic. I was a little bit disappointed when Harry Kane decided to take the penalty instead of the step inside, because that would have been a nice Ali assist in a game week that a lot of people transferred out Dele Alli with his injury concerns. We have De Bruyne with 14 points, my vice captain. A little bit annoying that he was my vice captain, but I was kind of going to go for a little bit more of a differential punt with Kane. 14 points just proves how good De Bruyne is and how much of a must own he is. So I think he's the best Man City option to own. And as I said, definitely a must own and looks almost essential going into these better fixtures for Man City. Even is a little bit fixture proof just because of, as I said, how quality of a player he is. So we have Traore with 1 point. I was a little bit disappointed with him not starting, but I can perfectly understand it with that quick turnaround from game week 19 to 20. But when he did come on, he looked absolutely amazing. He just is such a beast going forward with that pace and muscle. I really do think in the future he's going to do quite well, and he looks such a better player than he did when he first moved to Wolves. So I think he's in great form, and I'm really excited to own such a cheap option that is performing so well going into the upcoming fixtures. We have Harry Kane, our captain, who managed to return 2 bonus points and a penalty. A little bit lucky to get that goal, but then again, so were the Abraham and Rashford captainers. So I don't think that that's too bad looking at that one. Harry Kane did play quite well. I just get always annoyed when I watch Spurs and then he's always on the wing or defending or playing that number 10 slot. So I just wish he got more forward more often. But other than that, happy with my captain returning. And then Rashford, that stoppage time goal that saved a lot of people, especially those who captained Rashford. But I really was happy to own him. I did get a better green arrow. I think that's just because he was captained by so little people. Then moving on to the bench where everything went wrong. We had a mass rotation from Leicester, which saw Vardy and Soyuncu not playing. Vardy, a little bit understandable due to the birth of his child, so I can forgive him for that one. But then Soyuncu was also given a rest. And then with Lundstrom, the surprise of the weekend, nothing was said about his injury, but he did end up missing the game after not having passed a late fitness test. So hopefully he does come back into the lineup next game week. I'm hopeful because of him failing that last fitness test. It meant that he was almost ready to play, so should be raring to go for that Wednesday or Thursday fixture. Going on to my team selection for Game Week 21, it kind of speaks for itself here. The only kind of dilemma I'm going into is a little bit of bench worries, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But going into the defense with Guaita and Kelly. Now against Norwich, very tough fixture to go by. I'm hoping for almost a little bit like what happened to Aston Villa. I don't think that Norwich won't score. I think they're definitely going to score on this one. So I'm hoping it's, as I said, like the Aston Villa game when they have like 10 shots on target, but they're always getting cleared off the line. Then I'll be really happy with finally getting that double up on the Crystal Palace defense. But this game week, I'm not really expecting it just because of how good Norwich have been going forward. Then with Alexander-Arnold against Sheffield United, I'm hoping that he starts this one. I was really happy that he managed to escape that yellow card suspension. If you don't know that, Liverpool's game was extended once more to Game Week 20 just because they missed Game Week 18. So with Game Week 20, he didn't get a yellow card, so you'll be raring to go for Game Week 21. Sheffield United, tough game. Showed against Man City that maybe getting forward, they're quite good, but maybe the finishing is a little bit lacking. So I'm hoping that Liverpool can kind of keep a clean sheet in this one, and then also that he gets an attacking return. In the return fixture, I can always remember Alexander-Arnold getting really high forward, so I have high hopes for him. Then Soyuncu against Newcastle should be back in the lineup after his rest. Newcastle away, a little bit more of a tougher fixture. Newcastle have been quite good at home, so I'm not really expecting much. But I do think that Soyuncu can keep a clean sheet. Yeah, and I think that Leicester will be good to kind of rebound after that Liverpool loss, having beat West Ham on the weekend and then kind of going on to beat Newcastle. With the midfield, Lucas Moura and Dele Alli both have a common fixture against Southampton. A better fixture to go by, but I think I would have preferred this fixture a little bit early on. But I do think that Lucas Moura and Ali can do a job here. With Lucas Moura just hoping that he plays and then hopefully gets some attacking returns. Then with De Bruyne against Everton, currently my vice captain, I just think that Everton have also shown that they're a little bit more of a better side under Carlo Ancelotti. So I think that they'll go and do a job there, hopefully. A defensive job, maybe a little bit less, as I do hope that De Bruyne still returns. But I do think after this previous game week, he's going to be quite a highly captained player. Grealish against Burnley is my only kind of concern. I don't know whether to play Grealish or Traore. Right now, I'm leaning a little bit more towards Traore just because of how he was rested and how good he's looking recently. So I think that Grealish might find himself on the bench. But I don't think that Burnley away fixture's that bad, as Grealish is quite a skillful player and usually Burnley struggles against skillful players. Going into the attack, Rashford against Arsenal, that game can go either way. As you saw with Arsenal against Chelsea, I think that Arsenal will be raring to go for this one again after losing out to Chelsea quite late on. But I do think this game can go either way. It could be a really high-scoring one, which I do hope, as I am an owner of Rashford, but it also could be quite a low-scoring, boring game. Then with the captaincy, I've opted for Kane currently, but this could easily change. I know in the preview I said that I would go for Vardy captain, but I'm feeling a little bit more differential this week, but I might return to safety going into that deadline and go for Vardy. But with Kane, I hope that he does well. He usually does do quite well against Southampton, so I've got high hopes for him. And this is kind of, he does play Liverpool next game week, so the last kind of game week I can really captain Harry Kane, so I'm hoping that he does manage to get a double-digit haul. Then with Vardy against Newcastle, had his rest, should be raring to go. The reverse fixture of this one was 5-0 to Leicester, so I really do think that Vardy will score on this one, and that's the reason why I think he's the safety option to go for as your captaincy. Then on the bench, I've spoken about Traore, probably going to be in the lineup, but then I won't be playing Rico against West Ham. West Ham might have that new manager bounce, and I don't think that I trust Bournemouth for clean sheets. And then Lundstrom, currently injured, but I don't think I'd play him anyway, as he is playing Liverpool. Going on to some transfer options I am considering, so as you can see, in goal there, Fabianski, a little bit more of a differential punt going into the double game week. Only West Ham defender I would go for, as I said in the preview, just because of their tough fixtures in 24. I think he'll get a couple saves, and that could be quite profitable. But then, as you can see, also Liverpool galore here. So I'm still yet deciding on whether to double up on the defense or the attack. But I think currently my transfer that I'm looking at is bringing a Liverpool midfielder in. Whether that be for this game week, next game week, or the game week after that is yet to be seen, as I don't really favor Liverpool's fixtures going into these kind of double game week. Obviously, for the double game week, I'll be bringing them in, and that's why I'm monitoring them. So I have a transfer plan to bring in these Liverpool options. But I do have Gomez, who I think is a nice differential for those of you who don't have the cash for maybe Robertson or Trent Alexander-Arnold. Kept 4 clean sheets and 4 appearances, and I do think with Matip and Lovren out injured, he's basically a set start in the lineup. So Gomez is also going to be a good option. It's going to be quite interesting to see if he manages to keep his place going into that double game week. But then with Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah, we saw this game week how it's hard owning the one and not the other. And even if you own both of them, if you captain the wrong one, it's quite heartbreaking. But I'm currently assessing the situation of going Mane or Salah. I'm pretty sure that next game week, Salah is going to be the better scorer, and then I'm going to have even more of a dilemma. But with these two, I don't think I'll be bringing them in this game week, as it would require a hit, and I don't think I'm prepared to take one right now. The other option is Jimenez, a good option to go for. Had his rest against Liverpool, so should be starting the upcoming fixtures, and then Wolves have those lovely next 3 fixtures, which I think he'll do quite well with. And you can easily downgrade one of your premium attackers to Raul Jimenez, and then you have some money to spend. But this is basically going to wrap up the video. Stay tuned to my Twitter at Dayvy Fpl for any further updates, as well as stay tuned tomorrow for the deadline with Davy's stream an hour before the deadline. I really appreciate it if you guys do join. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, and otherwise subscribe if you have not or are just new to the channel. I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy Fpl, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.